Hello and welcome to another Spotlight. With me is Brandon Younkin to share a few perspectives regarding positive attitude. What's up, Brandon? How's it going?
Hey, good, Chris. How are you holding up?
Woo, that's a loaded question, Brandon. But I'm holding up though. I'm holding up. And I have to mention this first. Talk about a positive attitude. And this isn't a promo. I just thought it was perfectly fitting that I do this. I'm doing very good, Brandon. And yes. See, for the audience, right? There's a reason
That's
why
showbiz.
I had to go there. There's a reason. I actually met Brandon half a year ago, almost a year ago, at Pickett Brewery, right around the corner from us. So here in Baltimore, the Pigtown area of Baltimore. Just a little sidebar. I had to put that out there. But Brandon, talk about positive attitude, and there's so much positivity. From the first time we met, we laughed, we talked, we asked questions. We were curious about, like, hey, what's like, kind of like, what's your deal? Like, where are you from? What moves you? Right? Remember that conversation?
Oh yeah.
So we discussed a few things, and we've hit it off ever since. But I want to thank you up close, right quick, for even coming on the show and talking about this topic in itself. I thought, Brandon, you were one of the perfect people for it because, as I just mentioned, when we met, we were laughing. Things were jovial, right? It was just a great atmosphere. Your attitude was so positive and outgoing. So I'm like, I think Brandon will be a perfect guest on the show to talk about positive attitude.
And CJ, as much as I love to say I'm doing it for you, man, do it for my boy Blue.
Ah, shout out to Blue. Blue is my blue nose pit bull. Brandon also has a pit bull, blue nose, that looks pretty much, him and Blue could be brothers, right?
If mine went to the gym,
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't gonna put your boy out like that, but
he,
yeah,
he
Brandon, you need to walk him over to the brewery a little more, man. All right,
I
man,
hear you.
stop. Come on. Let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. So Brandon, um, first and foremost, I know you, got to know you, like I said, over almost the last year or so. Um, just give us the audience an idea of who you are, your background, kind of with respect to positive attitude.
Yeah, no, it's a loaded question, right? It's like that elevator pitch. But I mean, long and short of it, CJ, I'm a first generation college student. Went to school to be a special educator. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, 5 years in, Pennsylvania had a change of plans for me, and I ended up going to work for my fraternity instead. Just another different level of special education there, and another level of care and delicate compassion as I was the fun police traveling throughout the Southeast enforcing the
Fun
rules.
police, yes.
So I got to do that for a little bit, and then I spent a few more years in nonprofit in Indianapolis. Just born and raised here in Baltimore, though, and so
Okay.
eventually, family got older. I wasn't getting younger, and so I came back home and found home now in Pigtown. Where so I work in the insurance space. I work day to day with multiple different businesses, whether they're touching hearts or touching missiles. Either way, I'm there for their
Okay.
staff and making sure their employees are taken care of.
Cool. Sounds pretty positive to me.
You got to be.
Just saying. Speaking of positive, the topic, positive attitude, Brandon, just in layman's terms, like from your vantage point, what does that look like to you? What does it mean to you?
Man, it's funny. This came to me today. I was really thinking about this. I got to thinking of when I first kind of got that inclination to change my mindset and to realize what makes that day special.
Okay.
Um, and I met a buddy. We were in Indianapolis, and he was a big Sister Hazel fan. He's born and raised in Auburn, even though Sister Hazel's from Gainesville, Florida. And they had a song called "Change Your Mind." And
Oh,
we would sit and listen to it, and it was all about if you don't like what's going on, take a self inventory, look around, find five other things to be appreciative for.
mm,
And it worked. And I started digging into that and figuring out, you know, when one thing goes bad, it doesn't mean it's a bad life. It could just be a bad day.
right.
And so I think it all starts, with that self-awareness and figuring out, how do I make, not to be cliche, but the lemonade from the lemons.
Right. Right. Yeah. Brandon, I like the way you present it, especially that first part. It's kind of like, obviously, I'm paraphrasing. You something goes awry, if you will, during the day, the beginning, middle of the day, or whatever. Oftentimes, we woe is me with respect to like everything. We forget all of the good things that just happened that may have happened earlier that same day. I guess it's just a humanistic thing that a lot of us do.
Well, and especially in today, where we look at any news source, whatever it may be, any
Uh-huh.
social media, anything on that brilliant little computer that's attached to our fingertips, it's all dark. It's gloomy.
Yeah.
And so it's so easy to, okay, let me dissociate from the current. Let me look at my phone. And in reality,
Uh-huh.
what I found a lot of times, I'm going on to whatever news site it may be, and it's all equally, if not 10 times exponentially more sad as the onions that I found in my burrito. I don't like onions.
Right.
But you know what? That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of in that last statement, actually, you kind of touched on where I was going to go next with this is just your kind of your approach, not maybe because most of us don't do things in a systematic nature. We do it by habit and routine or what have you. But like, what is your approach and like how do you typically maintain a positive attitude during throughout your day to day?
Man, I'm far from perfect. I experience grief, anger, rage, and happiness all the same.
Right,
Um,
right.
but like I mentioned earlier, it really is about finding that opportunity to stop.
Hmm.
When people say, you're going through that, what's it called when you find yourself in the same place in your head? You're like, oh, I've lived this experience, deja vu.
Deja
Like, hey,
vu.
if you
Yeah.
want to, if you want to break deja vu, act out, snap, drop a cup.
Mhm.
Um, Same deal. I had a interesting day today. Awesome, super productive. Started off awesome. I got home and I went, something isn't balanced.
Yeah.
And I figured, what do I got to do? And so, CJ, I cleaned my house top to bottom. Now, granted, it's a row home, so it's only a few hundred square feet to clean.
But still,
And I sit here looking upon my kingdom, and I'm so happy.
yeah.
It's just little twitches where, because not everybody wants to go to the gym, or not everybody, finds fulfillment in a brewery that's healthy. Um, and so it's all about finding those little things. If it's refolding your towels so that the corners align, if
Yeah.
that's what makes you
Yeah.
happy,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
free. It's a free thing to do.
And Brandon, that's it. There's this like intersection of happiness and positive attitude. And I touched on this in a write up about this topic a week or so ago. And that I mean that's it. I mean you hit it spot on. What makes you happy? What typically makes you like optimistic, looking forward to something in a good way, right? Not that
Right.
overly anxious, creating anxiety or anything like that, but just being optimistic. Well, Baltimore, right? Being optimistic even when you hear sirens outside of your door, right? Um, because the fact of the matter is, I mean, I tell my sister still, my daughter especially, there's always going to be something, right?
Hmm.
Everybody is dealing with something. There's so much going on in the world today. You touched on it earlier, about the news. You see stuff, you read stuff, and you're kind of like, oh, it's so somber. But it's still that you still have that day, right? To do whatever it is you set out to do. You got over whatever it was last week, last month, and so on and so forth. And again, it goes back to that one word, optimism, and things as you touched on that makes you happy. Period.
Yeah. It's funny. I was just having a conversation with, this is the third time I brought him up. Goodness, he must be top of mind. My buddy down in Auburn, he
Okay.
invited me down for the Iron Bowl. And
Okay.
to me, that's the greatest treasure and honor. And he follows it up with, well, what do you want to eat while you're down here? Because that's what makes him happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
every time he comes up here from Alabama, we go to, baseball games and such. And his first question is not, what are we doing? What are we eating?
What are we eating? Is it? But Brandon, sometimes it's the little things. We say that all of the time, but
Yes.
it's the little things. Whatever's going to, again, just spark that whatever it is inside that creates the smile, right? Create that warm and fuzzy feeling. But
Yeah.
anyway, I've seen so many of us in and around the neighborhood here. Um, Notwithstanding, everything that's going on or what have you, be it good, bad, or indifferent, but just having a positive outlook, having, those positive thoughts, right, to help set the
Mhm.
stage for your day. But we can go on and on about that one. But I want to know this, Brandon. So we talked about all of that. You share what it looks like and some of the things you do, if you will. Can you think of a time, be it in your personal life, professional life, or whatever, when you were in a situation and it just had to kick in? You was like, even if you do your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or whatever. Can you
Right.
think of an instance where you had to kick it in?
Yeah, and this is a story I share time and time again. It's hard to tell without just absolutely losing it and dying of laughter. But in college, I used to spend my summers vacation or volunteering at a vacation home for blind children. Um,
Okay.
and in Avalon, New Jersey, and it was really cool. We had this alumni week where everyone had been to the camp as a child. Now they're adults. Often they were in college. A lot of them went to Temple, which was really cool.
Okay.
And in an alumni week, we allowed everybody to stay up a little bit later. And I remember peeking into the room, and the lights are on. They're playing cards, and I went, "Hey, gents, it's 11 o'clock. You mind if I turn the lights off?" And one of the campers turned around and said, "Brandon, you could have did that 18 years ago, and none of us would have known." And I had three counselors around me looking at me like, "Way to go!" And I went, "You know what? That's a learning lesson. That's awesome." And everyone's in tears. It was such a wonderful moment, and it's just one of those personal growth moments where I'm like, "Cool." Sometimes things are different.
per, per, Personal growth moments. Now,
Yes.
that's another topic there. Um, and I just took a mental note on that one, Brandon.
Yeah.
Um, but look, I knew I knew you, be it like I said earlier, a systematic, some methodical type of way or what have you. I was like, Brandon has something in him. He does something, right? His outlook, that keeps him, again, optimistic, positive, about
Right.
certain things. Because Brandon, I could probably count. It's hard to even count on one hand, um, more than one hand, how many times I've seen you not in a good mood, right?
Well,
So,
thanks, Orioles. Yeah.
whoa, well, okay, okay, Brandon, you're about to make this thing go left, okay? And I know I'm still a little sore about that. I know you are, as avid as a O's fan. You're going to the games and the paraphernalia, and I should have mentioned too. That picture, that pub you got, at the O's game. Now you talking about a positive attitude.
Yeah. That was that was something. That
That
was
that,
that,
that
that
was
was a
a
positive attitude gone viral. It was funny, man. Reading it was cool because I got to justify that it was just in the utmost of positive attitudes, maybe on the side of extreme fandom,
well.
but the comment sections were all suggesting maybe intoxication. And
Oh
I had buddies chiming in saying, "No, no, that's
no,
Brandon."
no, that's just Brandon. That's just Brandon. Everyone, he Brandon made a special catch. I deem it special at the O's game. He celebrated. They got this close up pic. He's all Brandon. How are you? What position were you in? I can't. Yeah. I can't reenact it. There it is. He gave the ball. Correct me if I misspeak. To a young fan.
Yep. To the
Yeah.
kid right in front of me
I mean, it was. Oh man, it was just an awesome moment. Awesome.
without thinking. It was hysterical. I mean, I had it there. I knew there was a camera behind me, but man, it was just visceral. It was like, well, ball, kid, camera.
Right. Right. Hey man, Brandon, we're gonna have to do this again. I have
Yeah.
several topics. I observe at least two uh, each month throughout the year. There's about three or four that are mainstays
Yeah.
each and every month, business related, health and wellness, and one or two others. Financial literacy is another one that I pretty much observed throughout the year. But I'm gonna have to get you back on at some time, man. But this conversation about a positive attitude, again, man, I knew you weren't going to let me down. You were the perfect person for it. And I'm glad you came on, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This is a blast. I mean, when you said 15 minutes, I went, no way, but good luck.
Hey, you know, we can go, Brandon, you and I, you know, we can go on and on.
We will.
We will. Hey, thanks again, man. I appreciate it. Hey, and to
Absolutely.
the audience, thanks for your continued support. And come do some life writing with me on the show. Remember, this is where information is shared in hopes to help you write the life you desire. Take care.